In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the fuel strainer on your Toyota Tundra, located inside the gas tank. Using a 10mm socket, loosen the connection on the negative, pull the terminal off, push it down, pull the front fuse box cover off. There's a little tab in the front over here, and then pull up. And we're going to pull our fuel pump relay. Just like that. We're just going to put this off to the side. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to loosen the clamp on the filler neck. Put the clamp loose, pull the filler neck off of the tank. Then we're going to stuff a rag in that hole just so we don't get any dirt inside of the tank. Like that. We're going to come over to this connector right here. There's two tabs on the top and bottom. We're going to squeeze those and pull back. Using a trim removal tool, we're going to pop the clip out on the top of the tank. Slide it back. We're going to remove these two clips. One right there. And then there's one up on the top. Right here. Like that. There's two tabs. We're going to push on those and then remove this hose from the charcoal box. Just like that. There's a release tab on the bottom of this connector. We're going to push on that and remove the connector from the charcoal box. We're going to slide this inside and hang it on the side of the tank. There's going to be two connections for these fuel lines. We're going to push on the tab in the back and it'll release. And then we're also going to pull up on this other side and release that. Pull it down to there. That's the unlocked position. Have a rag. I'm going to put this rag around the connection as I pull the two apart. There's going to be fuel that drips out of this line right here, and that's why we had the rag. And we're going to do the same thing to the back one, using a small pick, picking up on one side and then pushing with my finger on the other. It's okay if it falls off. Pull that line off as well. Make sure you have your little rag just to get all that gas. Remove the 12mm nut on this connection bracket. I'm going to pull that up out of the way. Using a transmission jack, we are going to support the tank before we take off the tank straps. Using a 14mm socket, we're going to remove the bolt on the tank strap. Do the same thing on the other one. We're going to remove the little cotter pin out of the pin so we can then remove it, twist it up. And then pull it out. Push the pin out of the strap and pull it completely out from the back. And remove the strap from under the tank. Do the same thing on the front pin. Remove that. And then pull the pin out. We're going to lower the tank down now. Not all the way, because we still have some wires connected onto the top. If you feel any tension while coming down on the tank, stop and check all your connections, make sure they're undone. You don't want to rip any harnesses, wires, or hoses while lowering this. We're going to remove the clip off the top of the tank for this side harness using a trim tool. We're going to remove the connector off of this sensor. There's going to be a little tab on top and then pull straight back. Remove the connector. There's a tab on this left side, this connector. Push in on that tab and pull straight up. Now I'm going to tuck this harness up out of the way so it's not hanging. Lower the tank all the way and get it somewhere where it's comfortable for you to work on. Using a ratchet strap, I'm going to secure my tank just to the jack, just so while I'm working on it, it doesn't fall off. I'm going to use a vacuum and clean up around this plate that we're going to be taking off. I'm going to do this to avoid getting any dirt into the tank while it's wide open. I'm going to put a little mark on this line and on here. This is just so I remember which hose goes where. And then we're going to remove this connection. Same as before. Pull out. Push back, and then you can remove the line. I'm just going to put that back on. Do the same thing on the yellow one. Remove the 8mm bolts. Using a flathead screwdriver or a trim tool, we're going to pull this top up. And we're going to remove the fuel pump from the fuel tank. Pull the fuel pump out, and we're going to undo this clamp, loosen it up, pull that off. Then we're going to remove the connector. It's a little tab right here. Push down on that, remove the connector. This little grommet sits on the bottom, like that. Take that off. Then we're going to remove this little locking tab. Just put a little flat blade screwdriver under it and pull up. And then we're able to remove the strainer, just like that. Install the strainer onto the fuel pump. Just like that. And there's going to be a little pressure clip. We're going to put that on this little tab, like that, and then push down to lock it on. You can use a little socket, put it over the top to help you push this down nice and square, and fully seat it against the plastic. We're going to install the fuel pump onto this hose. This hose is super swollen, so I did not remove the clamp. I was unable to. So I just pinched the clamp, and as I pinched the clamp, we're going to push the pump on. Just like that. Install the connector. into the fuel pump. Put your little grommet on the bottom and then slip it back into the assembly. Just like that. Install the fuel pump assembly back into the tank. Install all the bolts through the top into the tank. With all of our screws hand tight, we're going to go around and snug them down. Torque these bolts down to 31 inch-pounds. Install the hoses back onto the lines. Make sure they're back locked in place. Give it a pull, make sure they don't come off. With our fuel pump assembly installed, we're going to lift the tank back up to the truck. With it about halfway up, I'm going to put these two connectors on, and we're going to take the strap off. Install the connectors into the top of the tank. Push until you hear a click. Then we're going to install this one harness connector back into place, just like that. If you had a strap around your tank, remove that now. If you have one of these plastic connectors totally pop off, you can reinstall them. Start one side, pull the other side over, and just pop it back in place. When it's back in, you want to make sure that those two tabs on the inside are sitting right there and ready to lock the line in. We're going to reinstall these lines onto the hard lines. Push and seat them onto the line. Give them a pull. Make sure that they're locked on. Put the tank strap in place. Then we're going to put the pin through the hole, through our tank strap, and out the other side. Install the little pin. And then we'll do the same thing on the back one. Reinstall the tank strap bolt. Do the same thing on the back one. Torque the tank strap bolts to 45 foot-pounds. Remove the support out from under the gas tank. Install the hose back onto the evap box. Push until you hear a click and make sure it's fully seated. Then we're going to drag this connector up and over to the side. We're going to install the connector back onto the evap box right there. Push until you hear a click. Reinstall the hose. Make sure it's fully locked on. Push until you hear a click. Reinstall that harness clip. Ours is broken apart, so we will not be able to. But that clip will slide back into that little bracket on top of the tank. Remove the rag and reinstall the filler neck. Then we're going to tighten that clamp down. Make sure that clamp's nice and snug. Give the filler neck a little pull. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Reinstall the bracket into the back of the tank. Install the nut. And then we're going to snug it down. Install the fuel pump relay. Put the cover back on. And then reinstall the negative battery cable. Snug the connection down. Give it a little wiggle.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.